Hey Beech class. To solve some of the multiplication problems that we're going to be looking at this week, there's two main skills that we're going to have to use. The first skill is what we've recorded as counting skills. Now, by counting skills, we'll talk about the skills of counting up in multiples. In year 2, we practice counting up in ones, twos, fives, and tens. So if you haven't yet mastered and you're not really fluent at counting up in multiples of ones, twos, fives, and tens, I suggest you stop this learning video and go back and practice those skills instead. That's far more important. Okay? If you have mastered those skills, then we're going to use and apply them to solve some multiplication problems. The other skill that we're going to use is, I've described it as sorting. Okay? What I'm talking about by sorting is I'm talking about using little pictures and diagrams and dots to help sort a number into equal groups, or to create equal groups of a number. That's going to help us solve multiplication problems as well, depending on the type of calculation. Now, we're going to use both these skills today. Sometimes a sorting method will be the more efficient method. Sometimes the counting method will be more efficient. So it's important we have both skills in our tool belt. Now, when I'm talking and making decisions on exactly which is the most efficient method, I'm going to be looking at the different numbers in the calculation. So I'm going to use the proper mathematical vocabulary. I'll be talking about the factor in a calculation, or the factor in a calculation. Remember, these can go around either way. And I'll also be talking about the product in a calculation, the altogether number. Okay, so this calculation says 3 times 10 equals 30, or factor times factor equals product. I'll be using that key vocabulary of factor and product in this learning video. If you're not sure what I mean, go back to this slide. Okay, so roughly speaking, this is what the two methods of working will look like. Over here, you've got this sorting method. Now, sorting means if you're looking at 3 groups of 4, you simply draw a little picture which shows 3 groups of 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3 groups, and in each group you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. And in order to find the product, you just have to count up all the dots. Okay, this is a really nice, simple, easy method when those factors are small. When the factors become bigger, you need a more efficient method. Otherwise, you're going to have to draw 6 sorting circles, and then you're going to have to draw 10 dots in each one, and it's going to take you forever. We need a more efficient method. So the more efficient method we can use when these factors get bigger is our counting skills. 6 groups of 10. Well, I know how to count in 10. So I just need to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of them, and then just count them up. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. My product is 60. Now, these are the two methods that we're going to come back to time and time again. And they're the two methods that I challenge you to solve in your activities as well. Let's solve a few together, and I'm sure you'll get the hang of it, no problem. Now, I'm looking at this problem. The first thing I'm looking at are the factors. I'm seeing that these factors are nice and small. So I'm immediately thinking, aha, I'm going to use a nice sorting circles diagram here. I'm going to create 3 equal groups of 2. Okay, excuse my drawings here. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 equal groups, and inside each equal group, I'm going to do 2. 2 in there, 2 in there, 2 in there. Okay, so now I just need to count up my dots. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so altogether, my product is 6. A lovely, simple, easy way to find our answer if our factors are small. Okay, 3 equal groups of 3, I could do the same method. 3 equal groups of 1, I could use the same method. I could even use that same method when these problems are put into context. AJ, Sam, and Kemi each have 4 conkers. So AJ's got 4 conkers, so I could draw his 4 conkers here. Sam's got 4 conkers, I'll draw his conkers here. Kemi's got 4 conkers, I'll draw his conkers here, and I'll count up all the conkers to find the product. Okay? That sorting method is a really simple method when the factors are small. The problem is, when the factors get big, we can't rely on that method anymore. Okay? We can't be drawing 8 sorting circles and putting 10 dots in each. It's going to take forever, and we're more likely we're going to make a mistake. A much better method would be to think of this as 8 groups of 10. Okay, I'm just going to draw a little 10 up here, and I'll just turn it into a infinite cloner so I don't have to write it again and again. Okay, so 1 group of 10, 2 groups of 10, 3 groups of 10, 4 groups of 10, 5 groups of 10, 6 groups of 10, 7 groups of 10, 8 groups of 10. And because I'm so skilled already at counting up in tens, I can just count those off as I go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, which gives me a product of 80. I can use that same method when the problem's in context. Again, these are in groups of 10, so I could be counting in tens. Okay? I could be counting in 2s in this problem. Okay? I could be counting in 5s in this problem. Because I'm so good at counting in 2s and 5s and 10s, actually this method will work really efficiently if I've got these big factors. I don't want to draw 11 sorting circles with 5 dots in each one. I want to use my counting in 5 skills instead. Okay? So have a go at these problems. Okay, I think you should be able to find them quite simple. Be able to do them quite simply. I've sorted them into 2 activities. One activity where you use your sorting skills and those diagram skills. One activity where you're using your counting and 2, 5, or 10 skills. If we whiz through them and you want an extension, you could have a go at this efficient method of calculation activity. In this activity, what you're challenged to do is basically you're challenged with a simple calculation, and it's not just about working it out, it's about working out and really explaining what is the most efficient method and why. Okay, so this one I've got 2 times 4 equals. So the first thing it asks me is, well, which method would I use? Would I use sorting circles? Would I use counting in multiples? Okay. I'm thinking because these factors are nice and low, I'm thinking I'm going to use sorting circles and dots. Okay. The next thing you can do is actually underneath it says, what would your working out look like? Well, I'll do 2 groups. And in each group there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have a little equal sign to show that all together you've got 4 and a 4. So I can actually put that there as well. Up here it says, here is another calculation which I'd use this method. So I'm trying to think of another calculation where the factors are nice and small. So I'm thinking maybe like 3 times 1. Yeah, I'll use that same method. And finally, this is probably the trickiest bit. It says, I selected this method because. Here's where I want you to use that really good mathematical vocabulary. Tell me why you chose that method. Use the word factor, okay, or factors. I selected this method because. Tell me about the size of the factors. Tell me why they lent themselves to this method. Okay, you can repeat this with a range of different ones. Okay, so if you are looking for an extra challenge, have a go at this efficient method of calculation activity. But otherwise, just have a really good go and get really fluent at solving using those 2 different techniques to solve multiplication problems. Okay, good.